Our next speaker is Dr. Shashikant. Dr. Shashikant is consultant integrated medicine, yoga and mind-body therapy. After his MBBS, he has done his MD in yoga therapy and has a passion for integrating various systems of medicine. He has vast experience in the field of yoga and alternative therapies. He has recently been to China to train Chinese doctors in yoga therapy. He will now be educating us about alternative therapies for MS.
Namaste to all. Hello, namaskara. There is a new field of medicine. Usually we say family medicine or integrative medicine. Where in the recent years there is a huge interest in different forms of alternative therapies amongst the patients and also amongst the doctors. So there is a new branch of medicine called as integrative medicine, where different streams of medicines or different herbal remedies or mind-body related techniques are being used as an adjuvant or as an add-on therapies along with the routine therapies. Most of the time evidence-based. So this is a small introduction wherein we are trying to incorporate few of the remedies which are being used or which are on trial for multiple sclerosis. The moment we hear any one of us having multiple sclerosis, we say, why me? नन्गे याकप्पा इधर बंतो ना ये कर्मा मर्दे मुझे क्यों ये तकलीफ हुआ है मैं क्या किया था किसको क्या बिगाड़ा था So this is the most common thing we hear from a patient. If we put ourselves being a doctor into the shoes of a patient, it's a huge shock for any doctors to see a patient with MS. At the same time, for a patient to undergo this disease on himself or herself. So this is the most common question we ask, why me? There is some little answers we have right here. So usually this integrated medicine can also be called as complementary and alternative medicine. There is a one word they use, CAM therapies or AM, alternative medicine. So most in general, National Institute of Health USA defines as more than 39 to 45% of a general disease people who are undergoing routine and regular forms of therapy will undergo one or other forms of alternative therapies. But in multiple sclerosis, the trial or patient trying one or other alternative medicine is very huge. It's about 70% of multiple sclerosis patients will try one or other forms of alternative therapies. Alternative therapies can be herbal medication or multivitamins or vitamin D supplements or some mind-body therapies where it will help as an adjunct. So most commonly used therapies usually have different groups. Say for example, mind-body medicine where you use some form of exercises to control the mind, agitated mind, where it reduces the intensity of stress. By that reduction of stress, you are trying to reduce the progression of disease. As such, stress doesn't cause you any disease as per research. But there are n number of factors which shows that stress can aggravate the disease. It's the point wherein you need to note down. Stress can aggravate disease. So some therapies wherein simple meditation technique or breath awareness techniques will help patients to hold on his mind in a present moment. And by that wash out different stress hormones like adrenaline and noradrenaline and reduce the intensity of disease as an alternative and adjuvant therapy. So some herbs which have neuroprotective and antioxidant effect also used as an adjuvant for therapy. And some reflexology and yoga also tried where it will help to avoid a depression associated with disease or a spasticity or a pain reduction. Because in pain, along with sensation of pain, the emotional system is also involved. In medical field we say reticular pathway. Reticular pathway is involved where how you take this particular pain will also matter in feeling of the pain. For example, I'll give you two examples. A beautiful, gentle lady who will get a pin prick will feel more intense pain than a warrior or a soldier in the war zone, where even if there is a gunshot wound for this particular man, he don't feel the intensity of pain because there is a huge number of training at the background of this, and there is a body's response to this pain will be totally different. Maybe but technically you can say there will be huge number of amount of endorphins released. Endorphin is a natural pain killer secreted from the brain. And by this statement, I am asking, if we train our brain or our emotions in such a way that we are able to tolerate and reduce the intensity of pain, it is well and good in avoiding some of the symptoms and depression associated with the disease. The moment we say yoga, there is a feeling in the general public that there will be some Swamiji with a long beard, will be a celibate or a sannyasi who will be doing all this kind of practices. Usually there is a notion, and worldwide there is a what you call the real essence of yoga is not exactly conveyed. So this is one platform which we are trying to use it to take yoga to an evidence-based science. There are a few herbs which have been used as an adjuvant therapies. I will not be going much detail. So ginkgo biloba is one of them, and ginseng. These two are from a traditional Chinese medicine therapies where they used it for more than 2000 years. And very recently, very lately, Western Medical Society have come to know this. So these usually, on an average, it have a neuroprotective effect. So in general, as a layman, what we should need to know is, I'll take this disease and medicines as a war and guns. War is a disease which is happening, war between the T cells, B cells and other immuno cells fighting against the neuron. And guns are the medicines or injections or whatever we are taking. So war zone, in a war zone, there is essence, these medicines are very important. And at the same time, post-war, rehabilitation of the person at a different level is also essential. So this analogy holds good, war and the guns and the disease and the medicine. So, few herbal remedies like ginkgo biloba, ginseng, turmeric have a neuroprotective effect, which I will not go much in detail. Some other, in this particular context, I am taking both Indian indigenous herbal medicines and also from Western Chinese also. So wood betoni, they say it has a good antioxidant property. So in general, disease is already there. We need to protect it somehow, either by changing the diet or preventing toxins to affect more. Say for example, the disease process is already there, and our diet and lifestyle is not congenial in a way to support a normal way of living. Disease will worsen. So this is a simple thought wherein change the diet, change the lifestyles, and change your diet habit in a way to add on more of antioxidants and neuroprotectives, wherein you can prevent or postpone possibilities of disease remission. So these few medications. There is one more chemical called as sage. So in a crude form, most of the herbs have a multiple effects. As an along with other neuroprotective effect, it also has an anti-cancer effect and few what you say alkaloids, wherein it have what you can say. It is not at one particular point this medicines are affecting, but it has having different positive effects where you can try it without much side effects for this particular herbs. There is one more called as Gotu Kola. There you can see green tea. In Ayurveda, there has been Ayurveda considered to be a most ancient and living science of the world, wherein there are around 80 different types of diseases which are affecting nerves have been described, and most of them comes under Vata Vyadhi. Somebody is having knee pain, you commonly say, Vata. There is a Vayu change. So concept is body is made up of 5 different elements, and one of the element or two of the elements there is an imbalance, and they consider it as a Vata based Vyadhi. Vyadhi means disease. Vata is a air element related problem. So different modalities of treatment is either rejuvenate the body which is undergoing the disease process in a way to reactivate the neurons, or prevent the further damage, or supplement something wherein body will get in tuned to a natural frequency of vibration towards healing, where it will try to protect by itself. So you are recouping or cooperating the body to fight back without affecting much towards immunity in an adverse way. In this concept, two medicines are most commonly used are ashwagandha and turmeric are being mostly used in this particular MS. Few of these things, barberry, which I have not seen much here. So these herbs are also being used. Some people say that bee venom is also used as an adjuvant to therapies, but there are not much concrete evidences of this working towards multiple sclerosis. So I'll not go much in detail into these kind of things. And most commonly, at last, there are most of the people they support cannabis use, and there are research trials have been happening wherein cannabis is supposed to be neurostimulant, and it has emotional balancing effect also, and there are some evidences which shows that it is effective in multiple sclerosis. So coming back to our original concept, so I didn't go much details into each drug because it is an subjective idea to choose which kind of medicines or which kind of alternative medicines can be used in which kind of patients. If availability of these medicines are not here, so we cannot use usually. So I will not go much details. So coming back to original philosophy, we don't know from where we came, and we don't know how long we'll be here, and we don't know from where we go. So it's a biggest mystery of the world is, they say it's the death. Death is the biggest mystery, and the goal of life is also a biggest mystery unless you are tuning yourself to a higher frequencies. I call each individual as an bioenergy made up of 5 different elements and vibrating at a certain frequency with 5 sheets. There are 5 different types of layers or a body. In this, at this particular time, I'd like to introduce those. You can just imagine that 5 elements of the nature: fire, air, space, earth, and water constitutes this bioenergy or aspect of a cosmic element which is embodied or entrapped into this particular body. With this, there are 5 different sheets. One sheet is a physical body. You are having a physical body. In your physical body, there is some energy which is making you work, heartbeat, breathing, food is getting digested, and you are thinking. All this we considered as a part of a prana or an energy substitute working at a different pace at a different layers. Third one is your emotional body, where you have different varieties of positive or negative emotions. So physical body, vital body, and emotional body. Fourth one is your intellectual body. So what talks we are giving at this particular juncture, all the doctors, is to make your intellectual body to understand what is the disease and what are different treatments available and what you can do it as an individual to work on yourself at the same time. It be informed availability of medicines and other things. So this is an information which is happening at the level of your intellectual body. So fifth one we say bliss body. So 5 sheets of existence. So one of the most ancient book by name Yoga Vasishtha has defined this 5 layers or 5 koshas or 5 bodies. These bodies are not watertight compartments which you can differentiate. So usual way of working is at these 5 levels of existence. At a physical body we can take medicines, you can do some exercises, you can modify diet to help your body much. And at the level of vital energy, there is a beautiful element where we cannot usually control our autonomic nervous system, or we cannot usually control what's happening inside. And only one element of the autonomic nervous system which we can control temporarily is your breathing. See, breathing is both involuntary and voluntary. Initial few phases it is a voluntary. If I ask you to hold your breath for about few seconds, you can hold for about 30 seconds to 40 seconds. If you are working on your breathing more, you can hold up to 1 minute or 2 minutes. And beyond that, it will become involuntary. So, regulating of the breath have a biggest secrets of the world. So that I will discuss with you. Few of the therapies I will share with you. This also have an ability to hold your mind and reduce the thought process. So this is at the level of vital body. So at the level of emotional body, the moment we hear disease, we surely undergo different phases of, it's like a shock. The moment I hear multiple sclerosis, I will be in a shock. Then suddenly, the next phase of a denial. Suddenly you say, oh, mostly it's not for me. Oh, you just check your MRI one more time, will do. Or you change the doctor and go and see one more doctor and see, is it really it's happened with me or not? So it's a denial stage wherein you deny the disease. So this is a phase of acceptance. Okay, different phases of a disease process. Shock, denial, then there comes the grief, where you profoundly cry, or you don't want to undergo this kind of suffering, but still you are undergoing. So, shock, denial, grief, and then a phase of acceptance. You somehow accept, here in the karma, we have been undergoing this one. It might be part of our karma. We usually, most of Indians will take this karmic theory as an acceptance philosophy, to accept the disease. Only when you accept the disease, you can work on the disease. Until and unless you are accepting the disease, you are not in a realistic mode to work on the disease. So we work on these different layers of the body. So at last is a Anandamaya Kosha, or a bliss body, where each and everyone's goal in life is a Sukha Prapti and Dukkha Nivritti. Everybody wants to be happy and avoid misery. Is it true? Can it be accepted? Everyone wants in this world to be happy and avoid misery. Acceptable? So, these 5 layers or 5 areas of working, we define it usually in yoga therapy. We use different therapeutic modalities at all these levels. So, this is an opportunity where we combine medical specialties and alternative modalities, wherein patients will get a benefit of, rather than choosing alternative medicines by themselves, you get a person who chooses a different alternative therapies for you based on your symptoms, your availability of medications, availability of those alternative medicines, and evidence-based or cost-effective way. So as you already know, the cost of MS treatment is very high. So this alternative medicine gives you a cost-effective alternative solution, wherein you can work at the level of your mind, body and spirit. There are a few suggestions where a simple suggestion would be, we all in this world wants to conquer the nature with our intelligence, but nature has its own goal. So solution would be, go back to the nature. So this is a simple dietary modification. I can coin all these things, we can coin it in one particular word, is go back to the nature. So adopt more dietary variations which are directly from the nature, not with much added chemicals, toxins or any stimulant or depressants. So this is a simple way of adding. We can say at the level of a pH, body's chemicals change. Usually we take acidic forms of foods like coffee, cola, bakery items and all those well-refined foods which may or may not have much effect on your body in a way to protect you. If you go more of the natural food stuff, there's already embedded a healing nature or a disease modulating or immune modulating capacity in those naturally derived herbal products, wherein you can use them as an adjunct with your therapies. Simple, we can say change your diet from acidic nature to an alkaline nature is the first level of solution. So you are preventing most of the disease process, or you are postponing the disease progression. So next would be, we'll undergo some basic
That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you have a question, we can discuss it after that. Okay.
Thank you, sir, for giving us a new way of looking at treatment for MS. It definitely increased our options. Our next speaker is Mr. Shankar, the Secretary of Multiple Sclerosis Society of India. I request Mr. Shankar to say a few words.